Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler V series videos I'm gonna do for a little while now. Go over there to try out food and drink items. I drink stuff that, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks. I'm not gonna lie. I've been meaning to review this one for like over a week. It keeps being in my truck, and then I keep... We'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means I got off of work, I found some shit to review for you. That's not the case today. I mean, I did get off of work. That part absolutely did happen, thankfully. But, no, as I alluded to, yeah, I've actually had this item for a little bit now, at least a few weeks. I think I got it at Target at one point. And it's one of those things where, like, so when I do reviews, I do a lot of them for my truck these days. And so what I do a lot of times to prompt me to do reviews is I'll take an item, I'll put it in my truck before I go to work, and then when I get off work, I'll be like, okay, I'll be in a mood to review. And this one has just been in my truck, and it's just been a thing of, I keep meaning to review it, but then I find other things to review that kind of take precedent for one reason or another. And so finally I'm just like, I'm just doing it. We're just doing it. So, what are we doing? What's going on here? It's boom! It's a coffee thing. It's Vietnamese coffee. Cafe Suda from Sang Vietnamese Coffee. This is their Saigon cinnamon latte flavor coffee. It's made with 100% Vietnamese coffee. And yeah, I actually reviewed their normal milk coffee. That review, I would imagine, is probably up by the time I'm doing this. But it's non-GMO ingredients, gluten-free, barista quality. It's got a little thing that says, give your regular boring latte a bright Vietnamese twist, a deliciously creamy and smooth coffee drink with a dash of Saigon cinnamon. Sang is the creation of a first-generation Vietnamese American whose mission is to share the flavors and traditions of her native country through delicious Vietnamese treats. Anyway, let's try out some coffee stuff. I hope it's still okay from, temperature fluctuations and stuff, but I think it should be fine. That tasted fine. Let's give it a go. Okay. Alright. I can't say 100% certain what it's supposed to taste like because this is my first time trying it, but it doesn't taste weird or anything, so I think it's remained pretty much unaffected by being out in my car. I mean, it's been cool most of the time that I've had it out here, so I think we had one day where, it went into the 70s, weirdly enough. It was fucking February. But, no, that's good. I like it. I like their original stuff. Go watch that review, but, I enjoyed their original stuff, so I figured I was going to like this. I like cinnamon quite a bit. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's very creamy and smooth. It's very easy to drink. One thing I mentioned with, their normal stuff, with that, the coffee flavor was a little bit more pronounced, because in this, you've got the cinnamon aspect to kind of, work with that a little bit. So it does take away a little bit from the coffee flavor that was present with the other one that I had from them. But you do still get a little bit of that coffee bite. It's nice. It's good. Yeah. This is really nice. And the thing that's kind of nice about it, well, there's a number of things, but one of the things that's kind of nice about it is that even though I'm not a huge conventional coffee drinker, I don't like black coffee, I like coffee adjacent things. Take coffee as a base and cram it full of stuff till it barely tastes like coffee. That's the type of coffee drinker I typically am. But I like coffee, general stuff. And it is nice that with this, you know, there's it's not just a dessert drink. It's not just sweet on top of sweet. It's actually, you can still taste like the quality of the coffee and everything. And mind you, I say that as like an absolute, I'm not even a layman when it comes to like coffee stuff. I'm below that. But, I've had a lot of coffee stuff. And like I said, you can definitely taste that there is like a higher level quality than certain other like canned coffee drinks and stuff that are available. There is definitely an upshot. Like I said, it's very smooth, it's very creamy. And I think for me, the thing that ends up acting as the best barometer for if it's a good coffee is, am I still okay with it just on a coffee level? Because again, I don't like coffee all that much in its more, natural form. I like it, like I said, full of stuff. And so if the coffee flavor that I'm getting is still nice and still something that I'm perfectly down with, I'm going to take that as being good coffee. So, I mean, again, I don't know shit about coffee, so I can't tell you about the actual quality or whatever, but I can just tell you that I like it. I can tell you that, again, it goes down really nice and smooth. There's like no overt bitterness. The hit of cinnamon is nice, but it's, again, none of it is like brought to ridiculous levels. If you take like Starbucks, like their canned stuff, they amp their stuff up quite a bit. That's the American audience. It's what we like, those big bold flavors. With this, it is a little bit more subdued, but it's not lacking. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. It's a little bit more subtle, but still very good, very flavorful. I like it quite a bit. It's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of the coffee flavor, then finishes with a little bit of a cinnamon flourish. I like it. Yeah, I think that's really good. And I know I've mentioned it a number of times. I really like the creaminess on this. Really do. That for me is definitely a standout. Like as a textural experience, that is fantastic. So anyway, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes and yes. I think even more so than the original one that I tried. I think I would get this again. Because I like cinnamon, And it's not like a heavy cinnamon flavor. Like I said, it's more of a flourish. It just gives it a little something something. Almost like a nuttiness. I really enjoy this. It's really tasty. It wouldn't be like an outright go-to for me. Because, again, like I don't do coffee stuff all that often. But I do tend to work nights. And I'm definitely very familiar with caffeinated drinks. And it's nice to have a variety of options, So having something like this as something just a small can, I can go over there, drink it on my way to work, enjoy myself as I'm drinking it, not just a caffeine burst. I would definitely get it again. I think it's really good. They have one other flavor that I'm aware of. Some point I'll have to review that. And if I'm recommending it, yeah, again, absolutely. I think these little Vietnamese coffee things are really good. I think that they're obviously familiar to, stuff that's already very available in the United States. But on top of that, I think they're putting their own spin on it, and I think that they're really letting their product speak for itself. And there's so much to be said for that, especially in this day and age, with like the coffee culture and stuff. Even though it's died down somewhat, from its peak, obviously coffee is still a very big deal. And I do think it's one of those things where, when you do get somebody who kind of interrupts the market a little bit, brings something new to it, I think that's awesome. And I think that when it's done really well, that's even better. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of the year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly cinnamon-tastic rest of your life. Because I like cinnamon. Cinnamon's really good. It can be used in a variety of things. It can be sweet. It can be a little bit spicy. It's good times. If you look into the history of it, like for a long, long time, man, like hundreds, if not thousands of years, it was like one of the best kept secrets in the world. Like the countries that controlled it, they weren't letting that shit out, man. Like they weren't telling anybody where they were getting it from. That's so cool to me. That just, whole spice trade stuff. I like history. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But What you do if you can't do all the time? I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, that always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and it's bullshit sometimes, you know? And, folks, when we have to deal with situations like that in our lives, because they're going to come up, it's important we go over there, at least try. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you're going to try yourself some Saigon Vietnamese coffee, as I've done here today. Maybe you're like a dedicated Starbucks person, right? You know, I don't know. You're doing your thing. Maybe you try this out, and maybe you're over there, and it's like this, like, you know, just the mist beginning to clear, you know, around your, you know, your mind. Now you've been opened up to all, because you've been a Starbucks person, you know, it's, you know, your grandfather was a Starbucks person, your father was a Starbucks person, you know, that's just what you do. But now there's all these new coffee flavors and experiences out there, and you don't even know what to do with it. So maybe you go over there, you take like a year or two off, you know, you travel around Europe for a while, you know, you stay in a hostel here or there. You do that whole thing. Eventually you come back, you know, you're refreshed. You've had other coffee experiences. You're older and wiser to the ways of the coffee world. And there you go. And then you become like a coffee sage, I guess. That sounds like a thing that should be a thing. Like that, like, especially with how goofy the coffee culture can be, I would not be surprised at all if there was like, if you were like some like coffee tasting maestro who was known as like the coffee sage. Anyway, bye!